Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool and welcome back to Rogue Trader. We are basically at the end of this section of the game, I think, where we've been stuck in Cruderek, the Drukhari home city. Hello, bloodthirsty experiments. I don't recall you standing there last time. Oh right, no. We're in their lab, and we got to hear where I saw these guys and thought, oh, that's probably going to be a fight. Because we had worked our way through most of this area exploring. It was pointed out that I'd missed this side. And coming here, I saw this and thought it was going to be a fight, so we stopped the stream. That's where we're at. Yeah, let's step forward and start this fight.
I won't tolerate weakness. Dark human scum! You dare oppose us?
I do dare oppose you. So you guys are experiments, not the Drukhari. Like Disciples of Pain, I understand the need to kill. But you guys, I assume, are her people. Just experimented on. Yeah, children of Asurion. What does Bloodthirsty Experiment give you? Creature can become a target of the Disciple of Pain's Frenzy Injection ability. Okay. And Disciple of Pain? Frenzy Injection grants the creature the ability to make 3 attacks per round and makes it completely immune to damage. Immune to damage? I can understand ignoring pain, like being able to fight through the pain. But if I light you on fire, how does an injection make you immune to damage? Just by becoming frenzied. I don't know about that. Alright, but as usual, let's try and find places of cover to stand in. You can go there. It's not great. Potentially we could be attacked from this side. Do the Bloodthirsty Experiments use melee weapons? Yes. And what about Disciple of Pain? You guys are ranged either. Ranged or melee. Okay. So I don't have to worry about the Bloodthirsty Experiments sniping us from the side. Alright, let's put Earliet somewhere that she'll be able to stand for most of the fight. Yeah, that'll probably be fine. Then ourself. Have no movement. Alright, Heinrichs, let's move you forward somewhere. I'll put you in cover just in case. And then we'll stand in this half cover, which isn't great, but it's fine. It'll give us good view of the battlefield. Pascal. I think I want you moving forward so you can get towards some of these Disciple of Pain quicker. And same with you, Ulfar. Maybe I'll actually start you here just to ensure that they don't rush Cassia. Or at least dissuade them from rushing Cassia. Yeah. I think that's a good start. So bring it down on Ignatius, as always. Best way to start these fights. Minor lighting of ourselves on fire.
Nothing I can't do.
Okay, we did not get the free action, so end our turn.
I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
High momentum.
There we go. We've got our high momentum. Let's use Reveal the Light
I'm a navigator,
and
not
Voice
a
of Command,
servitor.
just to raise all of our characteristics even higher.
If you insist, Lord Captain.
Yeah. That's all looking good. Then give us a free turn.
I'll show you why navigators are feared.
So I'm inclined to try and take out the Disciples of Pain as fast as I can. Can I actually take you guys out with Ignite? No, I've got to use the Melta. Well, that's disappointing. I don't suppose any of you are lined up in convenient ways that I'll be able to hit multiple of you. You are? Well, how about that? And I'm not hitting an ally? Good. Perfect. We're back to high momentum. We've got another Disciple of Pain here. And then a few more here. No, you're... Hang on. You're a Disciple of Pain. You're a Disciple of Pain. Is that it? Yeah, we've got 2 Disciples of Pain left. Perfect. There's no way for me to hit both of you, even though you're so close together. Probably if I stepped around somewhere I could, but it's fine.
Suits my purposes.
We'll kill you. And then, lastly, you.
Nothing I can't do. Nothing of value has been lost.
And that's all the Disciples of Pain gone. Which should make the rest of this fight easier, because then we're not worrying about the Disciples of Pain boosting everyone else. Can you guys be killed? Yeah, you guys can be killed fairly easily with an Ignite. I don't think there's any close enough that I'm going to have the energy attacks jump from one to another. You have 1 hit point left. Huh.
All too easy.
Alright, run and gun. Then we'll use our ability here to give us 1 more action. And that one could be a Melta if I care. Yeah, we'll just give it to you. Alright, and I think that was a great first turn. Back to Cassia. So she can hit 2 of them at a time.
If I may.
Start with those 2.
Another foe.
Should kill that one, and it did. Oh, I didn't even see this one. I don't know if she can actually see that one. If I moved her somewhere... See, we've got you 2. You, that's one I was missing. But I think I can get to a point where she can use her eye on all 3 of them. Yes. Yes, she can.
I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
We're just ignoring the zones because I kind of forgot about them earlier, and I don't see a point now. The fight's basically already over. Nearly it. Who do you have shots on? Everyone. Perfect. Then we will do perfect spot.
I am not your xenos pet monkey.
They're all rating 2, so they don't really matter. But you have the most health, so we'll have her focus on you. You don't have cover, so I don't need to worry about that.
I understand your intent. If I must.
There we go. I could have her take shots on the other 2. Or 2 of the other 3. I went there. And there. Although I suppose, rather than Wild Hunt, which takes 1 shot on each of them, which probably... Is that going to be better, or... No, this only hits a single target. Yeah. So we'll use this on both of them.
My heart sings with the thrill of battle. I deal death with my hands.
Perfect. Ulfar, can you even get over here to do anything? If I put you there and had you take a shot, yeah, 95% to just win. Go for it. Wait, monkey, extend a helping hand and I will show you the way home. Says who? This... Whatever you are? Alright, give me a moment to loot. But we're going to definitely want to check out whatever that is. That's apparently talking to us. We got a Lord Xenos there. Activate a mechanism here. This is a 90% Lord Xenos. I'm going to grab all the loot first. Journal of Observations. The journal entries are written in an angular but surprisingly tidy hand, as if the writer deliberated meticulously over every word. The notes are supplemented by diagrams and formula. The Farseer's mind is aggressively resisting external interference. The mind maggot perished instantly upon being introduced into the system, which has never been observed before. Interesting. As punishment, the subject was placed in vibra shackles that chip away at limb bones. Unreadable diagrams. Mind maggot enhanced with a power implant. Subject placed in a red-hot metal capsule during the introduction of the parasite. Despite the pain and the parasite in its system, the subject succeeded in addressing the veil. Parasite destruction detected 2 minutes into its presence in the subject's body. Unreadable diagrams. Mind maggot enhanced with poison that suppresses the host's psychic functions and placed successfully inside his victim. The parasite's vital functions persist, yet with no sign of compliance on the part of the host. Unacceptable. Subject punished by partial skin removal and suspension by the detached areas of skin. Unreadable diagrams. Experiment finished. Result negative. For as long as the subject remains capable of combating the mind maggot's presence, pain is the only viable method of suppression. Subject to be placed in a capsule with slowly rotating blades until further instructions. Presumably that's who's in here, is the subject being subjected to blades. Webway resonance device, a mysterious tool required to open a webway gate. That's probably what Marjai was telling us to find. Yeah. Oh, Irliet knows a way to open the webway. Huh. I thought that was Marjai who told us to find an object and he would be able to open it.
Take heed, rogue trader.
Oh, did we spot a trap? Oh, way over there. Okay. Assault Cloak. After the wearer performs melee area attack, they gain 5% dodge reduction and parry reduction for each target affected by the attack for the next melee attack. Huh. Wraithbone Woven's battlesuit. It's for Drukari, which means Irliet could wear it since I think we finally got her that ability. How's it compare? It kills your dodge and restores 0 wounds each round. What is that 0 coming from? Toughness bonus. Okay, so maybe that's good for Marjai, but certainly not good for Irliet. Let's disarm the trap.
The machine builder grants the insight.
And what were we trapping over here? Nothing? Alright, any other loot to check out? We do have another trap here. Also Lord Xenos. Pascal, you go alone. Be careful. Alright, is that all the loot in the area? It is. I think we will talk to the strange capsule first before we interact with the various other... Well, I guess we can just look at this. But before we interact with the various other machines, laboratory is crammed with mechanisms and devices unknown to you, the sight of which makes you sick. Yeah. There's several Lord Xenos things we can activate. First, here. We'll toss down a quick save just in case. Because whoever is trying to talk to us, I want us to successfully be able to help them.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
The strange capsule emits a barely perceptible buzz. Its thick walls barely contain the sound coming from within, the sound of a living and tormented creature. Alright, well, the cables we can't follow. But logically, it probably is connected to either activating the mechanism or some of these Lord Xenos things around. Was it just the two?
I'll lay claim to the
I
stars.
thought there was another one somewhere. No? Alright. Before I activate the mechanism, because I don't know if that's going to be turning on the blades or whatever, and instantly kill it, let's check out these things.
Watch your steps.
And by that I mean let's undo this trap first.
Operation successful.
The set of symbols looks unfinished, as if you only have half of the mysterious message in front of you. Okay. I assume you succeeded, yeah. And this will be the other half?
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
Yeah. You can heal your team's traumas with skin patches. I tried that several times unsuccessfully, so I kind of just gave up on it. So it could be that I just kept rolling poorly on the check. But I went through like 5 skin patches without successfully restoring a single trauma and gave up. Granted, we have tons of skin patches, so maybe I don't need to worry about saving them or anything. We go to our consumables. Yeah, we've got 7 skin patches. Who has our best Medicaid at this point? 50, 45, 100. It's probably going to be Pascal. Yeah. So if we give Pascal... Injuries and traumas are different things. Right. Well, I thought we were trying to heal the... Oh, I was restoring the traumas, or trying to restore the traumas. Yeah, you're right. We can go with trying to heal the injuries that we have on us.
Data meditation is terminated.
I stand in recognition.
Yeah, see, another failure there.
Initiating bioreformation protocol.
Thank you. Now where were we?
Right, you said you can heal traumas. I'm dumb. Okay.
Integrity factor
Well,
increased.
okay, so we did manage to heal one of his own traumas. I feel like I tried it on both back in the day
Down is premature.
and was unsuccessful, but okay.
You have offered me another chance.
Injuries need normal med kits. Well, we've got lots of those too. I feel like I went through and tried this and it just completely failed, so I gave up and was waiting until we got back to our ship. But it seems like you are absolutely correct, and I can just heal it all.
Back into the fray.
Well, that feels pretty good, because the constant injuries and whatnot are a problem. So I think we've done everything here besides activate the mechanism. I'm worried it's just going to turn on the blades that they mentioned are in there with that guy. But I guess we shall see. Somewhere an unseen mechanism whirs to life. Okay, activate this mechanism now. Eklendyl. Despite his many bleeding wounds, the stately Eldari calmly straightens his shoulders and raises his narrow chin as he scrutinizes you with his keen gaze. Mysterious blue lights glimmer in his emerald green eyes. A monkey and an outcast have found their way into the heart of the Dark City to save what little remains. The universe is full of cruel surprises, and this is an outcome I managed to foresee. You have foreseen our meeting, but could not avoid being captured? What is the point of your prophecies, then? Yulet glares daggers at her fellow Eldari, but he does not look away. I am glad our paths have crossed again, my child. It is a great relief for me to know you are alive. But what is this? The Farseer frowns and concern surfaces on his face. Your soul wanders in the gloom, entangled in the brush of a despicable connection. I see that it grows from the seeds of solitude, doubts, and fears. And this thread of fate stretches between you and... His keen gaze darts to you. A monkey. Oh, Iliad, may Asurion spare you from ever facing the Farseer's judgment, for our kin are intolerant of such aberrations that make our souls fade. You know this. To treasure our unique connection is not despicable or wrong. What's so wrong about our connection? Silence Xenos, our relationship is none of your concern. Or say nothing. We're not in a relationship with Iliad, but we are friends. I like one of, I treasure it, but I'm also curious what is so wrong about our connection, from his perspective. The Farseer opens his mouth to respond, but Iliad cuts him off. We are not here to discuss our complicated ties, Elentok. I have come for answers, and I will have them. Alright, that is totally fair. Perhaps we ought to start by introducing ourselves. Lord Xenos succeeded. Make an Eldari greeting gesture with your hands. Interesting. That might get me on more positive terms. There were other Farseers besides you in the Spire. You said you would help us find our way home. What did you mean? Or the Farseers at your disposal. Let's start by making the Eldari greeting gesture with your hands. You have got yourself a most amusing monkey to keep you company, Iliad. He understands our language and even knows a thing or two about customary greetings. Not that any of it makes him a worthy companion for you to have on your path. It is the Alentok who keeps me at his side. Were it not for him, my soul would have long left this body, or else I would have been devoured by a minion of She Who Thirsts, and I would never have learned the truth of what happened to Cruderak. Perhaps we ought to start by introducing ourselves. Of course, Alentok, one forgets one's good manners all too easily in the Dark City. Iliad can barely contain her fury as she gestures towards her fellow Eldari. Standing before you is Eklendyl Maresh, who walks the path of the Farseer. He is the all-seeing eye and timeless sentinel of Cruderak. He was, that is. Either way, a monkey's name is not the kind of thing he would be particularly interested in case you were expecting me to introduce you in turn. He will forget your name as serenely as one forgets a troubled dream in the morning. Elentok. Now that is a word I've not heard in years. The Farseer does not even look in your direction. She probably told us what Elentok means. I don't recall exactly what it was. Oh well. Probably something like captain or leader or friend. Probably not friend. She gave it to us way too early. I don't know. There were other Farseers besides you in the spire. Between the homunculus tortures, I was able to glance inside my kin's desperate minds. I saw every soul that was extinguished in this spire. I sang a lament for every brother and sister sacrificed by the Dark Ones. I carry their memory in my heart, and if I get out of here alive, their names will not be forgotten. Your senses fail you, Eklendyl. Many died, but not all. Elite turns around and sharply and points to the game board containing the Farseer's soul. I was unable to save her, but you could have tried. The Eldari recoils as he looks at the bloodied game board. What is this? Explain yourself, monkey. What in all the gods' names made you decide to torture one of my sisters? Are you aware that a Farseer's soul is imprisoned in this object, and that your every touch causes unspeakable pain to her immortal soul? I mean, I didn't do this. I carried it with me in the hopes that there could be something done later, rather than just smashing it where it was. Can you really help her? It's my trophy. Do not even think about taking it from me. No. I did what I could to save the Farseer's soul, but I could only do so much. I'm not interested in your approval, Xenos. Yeah, I did what I could to save her. The Eldari's expression is inscrutable, but he struggles to speak. You have set me free, and I'm grateful for the rescue, but what you are doing is wrong. I can feel my sister's tortured soul. Free my sister's tortured soul if you let me, monkey. I'm asking you for one more favor. No more favors, Xenos. Let's change the subject. Then do it. Lay to rest the wretched soul imprisoned in this object. Yeah, we didn't really care for the object. It was an equipable item that didn't seem that impressive, from what I recall. Yulia blinks in surprise. In her eyes, there's a faint and fleeting trace of softness and gratitude. Really? I must confess I have set little store by your species in the past. Perhaps in some regards, I was wrong to do so. I would say that we are uniquely different than most other humans, because we have the freedom as a rogue trader to make our own decisions that aren't necessarily kill all Xenos. So when I find a Xenos that's not directly out to kill all humans, I don't feel as needed to murder all of them on sight. Yeah, imprisoned Farseer's soul. I think it had something about it before, but we can't see it now. It's just a lost item. The Xenos nods in gratitude, finds a spirit stone on one of the homunculus's desks, and chants a few unfamiliar words, which your elucidator does not catch. Dark blood pours out of the game board in the Eldari's hands, but as soon as he finishes his chant, a warm glow suffuses the stone he is holding. It is done. You said you would help us find our way home. What did you mean? The countless hours I spent in the homunculus's cage were not all spent in the throes of agony. I listened, I observed, I absorbed, and I soon learned that an age-old gate built by our ancestors is hidden in the heart of the spire. A webway gate connected to the world outside. I can unseal it and forge our path to salvation. I can help you make your way out of the Dark City and leave this place behind, but you must take me to the gate. My mind is still firm, and my spirit is unbreakable. My body, on the other hand, will not soon forget pain's embrace. What is the point of your questions, Elentok? I can guide you to the gate myself, but not before Eklendyl Maresh, who walks the path of the Farseer, the all-seeing eye, and the timeless sentinel of Krudarek, pours the light of truth into the bottomless well of my fear and doubt. The Farseer is at your disposal, Yurliet. I feared this moment would never come. Yurliet takes a deep breath and looks into the Farseer's eyes. Look at me, Eklendyl, and tell me what adversity befell our home. As a council member, you cannot possibly be unaware of the truth, and Eklendyl, do not even consider hiding anything from me. Sometimes ignorance truly is bliss, my child, but I cannot deny you your right to know the truth. The Farseer tosses back his head, and his voice sounds like rolling thunder. When we found ourselves amid the stars in this stellar fabric, we encountered a monkey ship, a ship much too puny to take on an Asuryani world, or so we thought, until the council was struck with a vision of horror to come. This ship would be our doom, not only for us on Krudarek, but for all Eldari kind among the nearby stars, and even for those whose paths stretched far beyond the stars. We could not allow such a thing to happen. When the ship approached, we pierced it with 100 salvos, and then rejoiced, for among the wreckage the Rangers found no trace of the foreseen curse. Asurion, how wrong we were. The ships that returned from their reconnaissance to our starports were already carrying it on their wings, whether it was a scratch from a passing wreck or the infected ashes of the monkey ship that the cosmic winds had not had time to disperse. The plague crept into our home and immediately began to eat away at the craft world's very flesh. So, there was something on this human ship. They just saw that it would bring death. They blew it up to stop that foreseen future, which anytime you're trying to overcome a future, like a prophecy that you're trying to fight back against, it almost never works. Prophecies always come true, it seems, and fighting against them usually leads to a worse outcome. So they fight against the humans, and whatever it was that the ship was carrying spread to them and to their home and infected it and destroyed it. Which means they brought about the end themselves, and it wasn't actually the humans' fault. In the Infinity Circuit, the souls of the ancestors battled the spreading pestilence ferociously, but the world was falling apart, and there was no stopping it. Spires collapsed, rivers dried up, the ground itself sank, and all living things turned into a strange blend of organic matter and metal. We fought for our home until the very end, but when it became clear that Krudorak was beyond saving, the council decided to gather all who remained, board them on the surviving shuttles, and scatter across the galaxy to look for salvation. And that was what we did. But who steered the infected vessel towards Krudorak? That's true. If it was an intentional, the humans were going to Krudorak with the intent to attack it with whatever this is, and it would have turned out the same way whether they attacked first or the humans were allowed to launch this weapon at them, then I guess it doesn't change anything. Yeah, who steered the infected vessel towards Krudorak?
I am afraid you already know the answer, Elentark. You just cannot accept it. Your predecessor, she who previously owned this vessel and your entire protectorate. The monkey who kept a piece of my homeworld in her study, like a trifle or trophy of no great significance.
It looks at you with a mixture of sorrow and sympathy. I don't know if I agree with that. She has a piece of their homeworld, yes, but they said they blew up the ship and made sure there was nothing left of it. Let's see. Pierced it with 100 salvos and then rejoiced, for among the wreckage the Rangers found no trace of the foreseen curse. I guess we don't know how damaged it was. It was just pierced it with 100 salvos, and then they referred to it as a wreckage. So it's like, obviously it's not our current ship, because it would take a lot. They would have killed any humans they found and made sure the ship was thoroughly a wreck, as he calls it. So our ship, which has the piece of Krudorak, is a different ship. And that means that the piece of Krudorak got to our ship from somewhere else, which means as a rogue trader, she could have picked it up anywhere from whatever ship actually did this. The assumption that she herself was part of that crew that went to their homeworld and got blown up makes no sense to me. So it was your cursed kind. Eklendyl's eyes light with golden radiance. I don't think so. It doesn't make sense. Wait, Eklendyl. Shedding innocent blood will not bring our home back. The Elentark is guilty only of helping me to reach this place and free you. The blood of the executioner of our people flows through the veins of the one you long to save. What has the monkey done to deserve your mercy? The golden sparks slowly die away, and the Farseer wearily closes his eyes. That's so weird that they're just going with this. Who steered the infected vessel? And she's just saying, oh, it had to be Theodora because she had a piece of the homeworld. And it's like, but then she'd be dead because they shot and destroyed that ship. So clearly it's not Theodora. Like, she's the last person you would assume. Because unless they destroyed the ship, but still left it alive enough that it could limp away, grab a piece of their home, and escape and then be mended? That makes zero sense to me. There's a few lines that have happened in this game where I'm just like, everyone just says something and accepts it as true, and I'm like, but it doesn't make sense. Can you give me a better reason? You said the disease broke out aboard the ship? You want to know how your kinspeople destroyed my world, so you can follow their example? Answer the question, Eklendyl. Not for the monkey's amusement, but for the sake of those whose souls dissolved in infinity. At first, we thought the monkey were in the service of the greatest enemy of our kind, the one who lurks beyond the edge of reality. But the world's affliction manifested itself differently. It distorted Krudak while avoiding encounters with the souls of our ancestors. We were waiting for the Silanthresh, the destroyer of souls, to burst her way in through the gaping wounds of the world, yet her gaze was directed away from our suffering. No one ever managed to identify the nature of the curse, even as we watched it destroy our home. And so, having lost all hope of saving it, we fled. Hey, North American Slacker, thanks for following. If your kin fled Krudak, how did you end up here? Our twisted cousins found our arks in the void's cold embrace. At first, it seemed they were going to save us, to extend a helping hand, and so we told them what happened to Krudak, and where to look for it. But our cousins' souls are dark and thirst for blood. My ark was one of the first they seized. The Dukari massacred hundreds of thousands of their own kind for fleeting pleasure's sake, and enslaved the Farseers from their cursed experiments, and that monkey was how I ended up hanging in this cage. Is Krudak completely destroyed? That is hard to believe. The Arbanian took care of what remained, and that is none of your concern, monkey. Hello. Ilya is silent for a while, and then says coldly, but Eklendyl, how did Krudak end up in the Expanse, this close to monkey ships and the Dark One's hunting grounds? Also a good question. That was a path chosen by the council, my child. It had charted Krudak's course among the stars for years, and no one had an inkling of the terrible fate that would await us in the place that promised us salvation. No one knew. The Farseer looks away for a mere second, but an itching sensation immediately burrows its way into the base of your skull. Something is wrong here. Yeah. They have Farseers. They're supposed to have a path that leads them to salvation. Surely they should have seen this coming before. Because they make it seem like they had a vision as the ship showed up that it was going to be their destruction. But it's like, shouldn't they have seen ahead of time that destruction was coming and not gone to that location? Something is wrong here, I agree with. Had this game in my library but not played, so I figured I'd check it out. Yeah, game's been great. I'm pretty late into chapter 3 out of, I think, 5 chapters. So some things probably won't make sense because you're coming into the middle to late part of the game. But feel free to ask questions and I'll tell you what I think or how things are playing. The paths I have walked have taught me a great deal. To see the truth where it is concealed, and not to hesitate to cut off the head of a lying snake that tries to coil around my heart. Aliet stares unblinkingly at her fellow Eldari, fury gleaming in her eyes. If the entire Farseer Council failed to foresee their world's doom, then everything the children of Asurion have been taught about paths for centuries is a lie. You are hiding something, Eklendyl. Speak. Speak now. How dare you take that tone with me, outcast? I'm not obliged to justify myself before you, let alone protest my innocence. I mean, he's clearly lying. There's something he's lying, and the fact that she's calling him out on it, of if the entire council of Farseers didn't see the destruction ahead of them, that makes no sense. Like, that's their whole point. We freed you from the homunculus' torture chamber, Eklendyl, and this is the thanks we get. Persuasion check. Coercion, also 100% chance to succeed. If you wish to leave this place alive, you would do well to start talking. Perhaps I should put you back in the cage, or you have already told us everything, almost everything. Why not hold anything back? Nearly yet, or I'm sick and tired of you, Xenos. Why don't I just kill you and have you done with it? So we have a 100% chance to succeed at any of these. I'm gonna go with the persuasion. It feels nicer than going with coercion. We freed you from the homunculus' torture chamber, Eklendyl, and this is the thanks we get? The Farseer's emerald green eyes are filled with despair. We had been steering Kruderak along a course prophesied by the stars themselves until Shael's tumultuous currents cast us to the edge of the Great Wound. A storm was coming, threatening to sweep Kruderak away from its path, and so the Council decided on a route to safety, across the nearest islet of Hope and into the place known among the Monkey as the Koronus Expanse. We stood by our decision, but there came a point where the prophecies became ever darker and more unsettling. Someone proposed altering the course, but the closing grip of raging Shael was blocking our path on all sides. It was then that the Council's opinion was split. My vote was the deciding one in that difficult debate, for I believed that the prophecy that had promised us salvation in the Expanse could not have been a lie. You already know what happened next. The Farseer closes his eyes and turns away, unwilling to meet Irliet's gaze. So, the Great Wound, which is one of the areas where the Imperium has leaked out into, or torn its way out into space, where chaos is disrupting things. It also really messes with humans' travel, so I'm not surprised that they're having trouble with it, and it probably does affect their ability to have accurate prophecies the closer they get to it. So it makes sense. They had a prophecy that said they would find safety in the Koronus Expanse, but then they found themselves too close to chaos to where they couldn't get accurate prophecies and getting blocked in, and they were just trying to make the best of a bad situation. Okay. That makes more sense than the fact that everything was going fine, their prophecies were great, and then suddenly humans showed up and attacked, or showed up and killed them with no forewarning. Hey Zenzu, welcome. Yeah, and he's trying to hide the fact that he was the deciding vote that led to the bad outcome. Okay. Eliot looks lost. So we were doomed. I should have stayed on Kruderak. I could have tried to help those who survived the disaster. If only I had not chosen that accursed path and left the craft world, I could have at least tried to save someone. I mean, ultimately, if Kruderak was doomed, regardless, which maybe it was, all they have is that a prophecy that there was supposed to be, how did they phrase it? Salvation in the Expanse. So in the Koronus Expanse, they were supposed to find salvation. And it's like, yeah, almost all of Kruderak is gone. But Irliet survives, this guy has survived. There have been a few, and potentially there are a few more survivors. And if I continue to protect them, because so far they're not attacking humans, they could actually eventually, given time, rebuild and find salvation here in the Koronus Expanse. Yeah, there was a ton of death and destruction along the way, but potentially that prophecy could still come true. But Irliet dying on Kruderak would not have helped that at all. You abandoned Kruderak when it needed you, and now everyone you know is dead. What did you think was going to happen? That is super harsh. You are not to blame for the demise of your world. Subverting fate is beyond your power. There's some truth to that. Was it not the Farseers who made a bad decision? What difference would it have made if you had been on Kruderak? Could go with that too. I would prefer this being phrased more along the lines of, it was the Farseers who made the bad decision. What difference would it have made for you to die on Kruderak? Because essentially that's what it would have been. The chances of her staying on Kruderak and making a significant enough change and surviving herself seems very limited. But that's not how it's phrased. It's just saying that you're basically powerless, which I don't like. You're not to blame for the demise of your world. Subverting fate is beyond your power. Eli's mouth twists in displeasure. The Farseers. It was not beyond their power. They led Crudarach to prosperity for years, only to become too blind to what was going on around them. Had they not followed the prophecy as the old customs required, had they changed course instead, Crudarach might still be whole. Then it's your duty to avenge them and punish those responsible. There is a Farseer right in front of you. No. I think the best for her people, if she wants to help her people, is protecting all of them that she finds. Like, yeah, he made a mistake, but killing him isn't going to bring back the rest of them. And hopefully he's learned from his mistakes. There's no bringing back the past, but you can try to change your people's future. See, I like that one. Want no part in this? Handle the problem yourself? Or, any way you look at it, you're as much to blame as the Farseers. No. There's no bringing back the past. You can try to change your people's future. Irlit stays silent for a long time, peering into the face of the Farseer standing across from her. Calm and collected, he looks prepared to meet his fate. Finally, Irlit replies, "We're both guilty, and both deserve a fate much more terrible than death. However, it is too early for us to leave this world before we have atoned for our guilt. Come with me, Eklendyl. We have a lot to do before the Great Oblivion. We will find our brothers and sisters and protect them from those who seek to harm them. Perhaps we may even find a new home." Your words are like a healing melody flowing into my tormented soul. For the first time, a slight smile graced the Farseer's lips. "I accept your proposal, my child." Okay. So is he following us around now?
Follow my lead.
Yes. I don't think there's anything else to do in this local area. So let's head back out this way. I think we've done everything on this main level as well. And we now have just this staircase to head up. Right over here.
None shall stand in my way.
I think this is the new area. Nope. Still have to go a little bit farther. This is the new area.
Look, over there.
A new trap. Alright. Did we miss that before, or has something new changed over here? So we've already looked all the way down these paths. I don't know.
I'm still new to the art of exploring.
Well, disarm that trap, please.
Operation successful.
Do we go the direction that the traps were?
A new challenge for me?
We go this way because we know
For my sharp
of
senses.
treasure, or I guess loot, that direction. We can activate a thing. Is this our warp gate? It looks kind of gatey. Nope. It is loot. Desolation Blast Pistol. 23 to 35. 75% armor penetration. That's really good. Dodge reduction of 30. Only shoots once. Range is terrible. Every hit from this pistol inflicts +1 stack of melting. What is melting in this case? Each stack reduces deflection by 1 and armor by 10%. Oh, dude. That is very good. Sharpshooter rifle. 24 to 36. That's way better than the sniper rifle I'm using. Granted, I've had this sniper rifle for a very long time. Since, like, Act 1. Because we just haven't found a better sniper rifle. Granted, I don't use my sniper rifle, so not that it overly matters. Less ammo. Slightly less range, actually. Deadeye shots deal additional damage to larger enemies. 2x2 creatures suffer +5 damage. 3x3 enemies suffer 10 damage. I don't think we've even run into any 3x3 enemies. That's terrifying. Huh. Possibly Irliet could use that. Might be better than her sniper rifle. Let's check. So if we go to you... She can't use this because it's not a Drukhari weapon. But I could replace her little pistol. Granted... Oh, this does count as a pistol. Based on the name. So, whenever an enemy gets too close, that might be a reasonable thing to switch to. 30 to 45. Yeah, so her sniper rifle is still way better. But if someone gets close, this might be a decent choice instead. 3x3 enemies? Yeah, so... In general, when we get into combat, everyone takes up a single square. Ulfar here is a new character we recently got, who is giant, and so he takes up 2 squares by 2 squares. The game plays out on a grid, like actual combats. So we've seen a few larger enemies that also take up a 2x2 square on the grid, but I have not yet seen any enemies that take up 3 squares by 3 squares.
It's about time.
So that's hinting at bigger, scarier enemies in the future. Muffled cries of pain come from the impenetrable darkness. Alright, Medicaid test. 95% chance.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
Gotta ask, what is your stance on spoiling story things that you have missed on this playthrough? I would prefer not being spoiled. Like at the end of the entire game, I don't think I would mind hearing about other directions the story could have gone or things, you know, quests I might have missed. But yeah, I'd rather not be spoiled on things that, like in the middle of the gameplay, particularly because a lot of things you can go back to. Because we are going to get back to real space. A lot of the various planets and quests and whatnot will still be available. So I'll hopefully see stuff there. But either way, yeah, don't want to be spoiled. The corpse was dismembered and then reassembled, apparently while still alive. Numerous stitches and burns indicate that the surgeon was not concerned with humane treatment. Human treatment. Ah. The view of the intertwining and intricate passages of the labyrinth fascinates and draws the eye.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Searching is my observance. My success is an irrefutable certainty.
Okay, this is definitely taking us somewhere. Looks like an elevator, I'm guessing. Yep.